Hello and welcome to the Beyond Mindset podcast. I'm your host, Marisol Uribe, and I am the founder of the Beyond movement. Now, Yosmel here is our special guest, and he is native from Cuba. He's Cubano,
Yes.
and he has a background in finance and banking and loans. So he's here to tell us a bit about that and educate us because oftentimes we don't have the opportunity to sit in front of like someone like Yosmel, right? So we're all in our little
Absolutely.
worlds. We work, we go home, we study, we work, we go home, we study, sometimes have fun. Like us, we had a nice dinner last night. Thank you so much for
Yes.
that. And yeah, introduce yourself, Yosmel. Tell us where are you from and what got you here?
Definitely. So thank you so much for that introduction. ¿Cómo está mi gente? Mi nombre es Yosmel, right? My name is Yosmel and I'm actually from Cuba, born and raised in Havana. I came to the United States when I was 22 years old. I went from Havana straight to Santa Ana, California.
From
and
Havana to Santa Ana.
exactly. And in Cuba, I went to study for engineering telecommunications in Cuhai, which every Cuban would know what is that. And here, I came into 2013, and my dream job was always to work in a telecommunication company. So I did that. I went to work for Verizon, moved to Tampa, Utah, and then in Utah, I found this amazing company called Lendio, which is a marketplace for small business lending. And I went to work over there in 2018. And in 2018, in a year, I was able to kind of like expand the business line of credit department that was not existent. I opened it up for them. I love the business lending. I get to see business owners making 100 to 200,000 to people making over $40 million. All type of business lending, line of credit, unsecured line of credit, SBA loans, cash advance, um, AI receivable, PO financing, whatever you name it, credit cards for businesses and stuff like that. And then within a year, I actually came back to California to open up my own franchise. And,
Nice.
and that's exactly what I did since 2019 until 2022. I was operating Lendio Anaheim here in California. Did a lot of PPP loans, over 300 PPP loans during 2020 and 2021. Actually, probably more than that. But and now I'm doing my own company. It's called G Goals, and it's about connecting the right business with the right bank and the right banker.
hmm I love that because sometimes we have different industries, and one banker may not necessarily fit all for everybody's needs. So, tell us, if you can, a little bit about what problem you saw, right? And what you see the future of banking changing to look like.
Definitely, I don't have a Ouija board as far as saying like the right place what is going to do banking in the next 10, 20 years, right? But this is what I know today. What I know today is that we can have a better banking system working for all of us, right? Not just for the big boy clubs. So let's just put it that way. Because data have shown historically, and that the financial system has not been fair to everybody equally.
Mm-hmm.
And to put into perspective, like in real numbers and real data, right? In 2016,
Mm-hmm.
Bank of America got sued for they actually settled for like over $300 million because they were denying loans to Latinos specifically and other minority groups or African Americans.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in my personal opinion, right? Because I was also like many people
Affected.
have been denied loans.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem fair to me that these big institutions, and again, I'm not trashing them. I'm just stating facts, right? Take the money from Latinos and other groups, and they get to play favorite in who they're gonna lend to, especially if they have the same credit criteria. So if you and I, we have both good credit, we have good income, what is it that you might get a loan and I don't, right? And this problem is more, is definitely more than that, right? It goes back to redlining, back in the back then. I don't want to get specific dates because there's a lot of data, but when they used to not leave, give home loans to a specific black neighborhoods or Hispanic neighborhoods or immigrants neighborhoods, right? Um, and it does affect, in my opinion, it really affects the livelihood of millions of people in this country that they're just trying to get ahead in life. They're not trying to, for the immigrant standpoint, right? Because I'm an immigrant. They're not trying to take your job to, and run to Cuba, Mexico, or whatever, right? They're just trying to provide a better life for themselves and their family. Simple as that,
Right.
So
Let me
that's my
ask.
take. That's what I say. We can have better banking, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm not trying. I'm going to do it. And
Yes, I love
and
that.
also, I'm not gonna say banks are horrible people, right? I'm not here to trash the banks because they
Right.
do play a fundamental role in our economy. It's,
And
it's, it's very important. The bank is not just to hold your money. They provide safe for your money, but they also transfer the money. They also analyze risk, right? And they put that idle cash into businesses, potential businesses. And just like in any industry, there's really, really good people and not so great people, right? And I know many bankers that are amazing,
yeah.
amazing people. They go the extra mile to ensure that that you have your financial needs met.
Yeah, we we would need referral word of mouth to point us to the direction of a trustworthy person right now, right? It's just asking around, calling them up. And so definitely I think more transparency is needed and more trust and credibility to be built. Kind of like when you are trying to hire someone and you look into their resume and some applicants are supposed to write maybe three references and their phone numbers where you can call them up. And so that's a really good perspective to have when it comes to someone who's trying to innovate, right? Not necessarily conforming with what's available to us right now. So, Yosmel, quick question. What would you tell this small business owner who is still struggling with the whole good debt versus bad debt and just struggling with that mindset of getting money to leverage your business?
Definitely. Let me give you this specific example. Or mental health, right? Or health, physical health. We
Mm-hmm.
have a primary care physician, right? In the
Yes.
financial side, you need a primary care banker. I would actually I would say even more primary care bankers, because the more bankers the better the health of your wallet. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a funny way to put it, right?
A good one.
But if you think about it, it makes sense because that's a professional that really understands debt. And if you're connecting with the right banker in your industry, he have the experience on seeing other business owners in the same industry, probably in the same spot, then he can actually give you some sort of advice. And it's
Mhm.
free. You don't have to pay the banker. You can literally just walk into the bank and request to speak with either a financial advisor or a business banker or a relationship manager, what is called, and talk to them, run your situation by them. That's, I would say, that's the easiest step to do before
And
you talk to somebody else. That's literally the easiest one.
no strings attached. Some people may think, oh, I need a business first or proven concept, or no, you could just present someone with maybe your business plan or the numbers and they could run it by you, right?
Yeah, and it's absolutely free. There's a very fine line between a small business and a startup, like a tech startup. Like, for example, when Facebook started the platform, it's not the same because these people get to raise capital for private investors, whereas small businesses usually depend heavily on banks to start a business, right? We don't
Right.
play by the same rules. I like to say, or that's what
Mhm.
I've seen so far. But when it comes to good debt, bad debt, have really tied to professional, because it takes money to make money, right? But you need to know exactly what type of money are you taking, and what is your cash flow. So don't take $100,000 at 25% interest rate, if only you're gonna make 10% of that money, right? Like that's a bad business right away. That's why I always recommend, to go to the bank, talk to a banker, have them take a look at it. It's free, you don't have to pay, and if it makes sense, it will make sense, and he will tell you what to do. Right? Why don't you save that more, save a little bit more, get a down payment. Let's get an SBA loan. It might be at 10%, 11%, 12%, whatever that might be. But your cash flow would work for this, and we might be able to do the loan for you.
That's a really good perspective because some people may feel the need to jump in one of these financing when it could be a chokehold to their business where they may not be
Oh,
ready for
absolutely.
it. And so that's the last thing you want to do is, as a small business owner, toss and turn in bed thinking, wow, how am I going to make the payment this month? And so cash flow is very important. I know last night we talked a bit about Robert Kiyosaki and just those fundamentals, right? And how it's important to constantly educate yourself, whether it's through books. Here's my book right here, Beyond Mindset Health, whether it's through learning through new people like yourself, Yosmel, wealth of
Thank
knowledge. And when you sit with someone, you can get all these years of experience condensed in a couple minutes, tailored to your situation. So, what have you heard from your clients that you didn't hear of in previous jobs? Like maybe when you were not working for yourself? Do you feel like your work is more appreciated today than it was before?
you. I honestly, I think so. Especially during and after the pandemic. That was intense. The pandemic was intense,
Tested.
for the capital perspectives. Everybody have they used to call it PPP fatigue. That's
Mm.
and and it's because you hear, again, it was very uncertain times. In March 2020, it was
Oh,
chaos
yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, we thought COVID was extremely deadly. I remember working in the front lines over here in Skid Row, Los Angeles, in my
Oh my
nurse room.
goodness.
And
Um,
it was like I was sleeping in my garage at some point. And yeah, extremely unpredictable. It tested lots of businesses and their ability to survive through this financial winter.
to follow up on what you say, yeah, I 100% agree. I have the privilege to see people, changing the business completely. People actually dying,
Hmm.
financially speaking, right? A bunch of layoff.
Hmm.
But I get to see both sides, and to give you an actual example, I had a client that had a swimming classes, right? The business was a swimming classes. Pandemic hit, no more classes,
Hmm.
no more revenue, of course, and but she was very profitable in 2018, 2019, 2018. So she called and said, "Hey, I would like to get like a business loan, only for $200,000. I'm planning to create an app, a mobile application." And through that mobile application, they created it, and it was to do swimming classes through the app. So the revenue went actually up because they called the clients and say, "Hey, now you can download this app if you have a pool in your house, and we can do everything remotely." And in 2021, when since started opening up, the revenue doubled,
Yeah.
right? So that's what I call resilience right there. Amazing story out of the pandemic.
Really awesome. And more of us are turning to the digital world every day. It's just convenient.
It is. It absolutely. Convenience is the right word. You said it right there. I would argue, right, that my humble opinion, right, it's regardless of how much technology we have, I don't think we would ever replace that human touch.
Oh, never.
Which I don't know. AI might say something different, but I like to believe that that human touch cannot be replaced. We still need this handshake with that feeling that we tack into an actual human being. But that's just my humble opinion.
I agree. No, it's like replacing a nurse with a robot. Like, no. Part of it, of what I studied, is the holistic person. Holistic meaning mind, body, spirit, right? We don't leave those two out and just focus on the physical body when there's more to the human person than that. If I talk to my hospice nurse friends who are really seeing and treating patients at the brink of death and dying, they have these deep conversations with, you know, whether it's, do you regret anything? What's something off that you want to take off your chest? What's on your mind? So all that is very therapeutic. And of course, we need human connection. We need the touch because we need to remember what it feels like to have these sensations of love and intimacy.
Yes.
Something so simple as a pat on the shoulder, uh, just a hug, a look, saying like, "Hey, I care about you. I'm here for you. I'm just a call away. Whatever you need, or let's grab lunch again next month." So things like that. I think we all have 5 minutes to call someone, whether it's your loved one, parents from across the state, from across the country, because we're here one moment and we're gone the next, and it's just unpredictable. Only God knows is how I see it when our final
I
moment is. And
I
while we're
could not
here,
say it
you'll
better, Marisol. You're absolutely right. That was really nice for you to say, but that is absolutely right.
my pleasure. Out of the 7,000 patients I've seen, I have a lot of testimonials and just life paradigms or perspectives and theories, philosophy. I'm really big on like existentialism and getting someone to be comfortable with sharing why it is that they feel that they are here or what has become their purpose in life. And a lot of us are lacking this clarity and direction, but it just takes some internal reflection and conviction and commitment to actually pull through on your business, in your marriage, in your family, on whatever it is that you want to improve on, is how I see things. What are your thoughts about that?
Actually, before I do that, may I just take a moment and say thank you so much for your service during the pandemic. It was nurses like yourself or people who work in the healthcare industry that really took it. Like I would never think the mental toll that took see so many people dying at the same time. So
Mm-hmm.
not to belittle any other person in any other industry, but I just want to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that I thank you for doing that.
Oh,
And
thank
to
you as well.
yes, it's
Yeah, every industry is needed. I remember we were being called heroes or essential workers, but everyone is needed. Everyone keeps the economy going. And if you're every day you're visiting someone's job, every day there's this exchange of time and money, and we get to choose where we spend it and who we spend it with. So that was
yes.
beautiful. I appreciate the acknowledgement.
No, absolutely the least that I can do. Um, I guess I don't have a lot of words to say after that because you can kind of like take it everything right there, and I'm a person with a little words, but well, yeah, not too many words, but again, I agree. Like you do need to have that feeling, that person, like you say, that will take a look at you, that would actually care about how you doing today, right? A simple question, but it means it might have such a strong meaning for somebody, right? You never, because you never know what people are going through in their life. You never
Exactly.
know. I feel like that's why you need to approach from a curiosity kind of like a standpoint and authentic. Be authentic when you're asking how are you doing, and how can we help you today, and what is wrong that we might be able to get better, or we might not, right? But the only fact that you actually listening, for some people, that just made the difference right there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. And you know what
so
else? I think that's what separates you as an independent banker, if I may, is having this connection, right? This um, prerogative to want to have a connection, a ongoing relationship with your client, not just maybe answer their questions once and cut the relationship. No, like I'm sure you have your phone lines open if they ever need to come back and do another loan with you.
yes. So I'm. Let me clarify. I'm not a banker. I never worked for no any bank in United States. My platform is just connected with the right bank and banker. But what you just said is absolutely true. I have worked with so many bankers and funding managers and people in the financial industry that's exactly the approach that everybody should be taking, right? Or at least I take is, let's listen to your needs, because it's not just about giving you money, right? Like, when, yes, you get the money, but you getting the money to inject it in you, in the community that you're representing. You betting your life, but if you're hiring people, now you're betting the life of the people around you, right? By providing jobs and economic opportunity to other people. uh, I feel like a good banker would always understand that part. Like, at least the people that I used to work over here at Lendio, when I used to work at Lendio, a lot of them would understand that it was just no money. It's about to, when you get it, you bet into yourself. Your company continue to grow. If your company is growing, now you're hiring people. Now you're making an impact in the economy of your community, right? First, and then overall in the country. Is understanding that part, that is not important just for United States. Once again, let me say that it's important for any country in the world,
The world.
right? Either you in Cuba, in Mexico, in China, in any other country, in Germany. Part my family have from my mom's side, they live in Switzerland,
Okay.
and I have the honor to speak with Swiss bankers. And one thing that they tell me that they do over there is like they get the time to get to know the businesses in the community. My
Good.
aunt, who has lived in Switzerland for 20 years, she have told me that when she goes to the bank, everybody knows her name, my
That's so,
cousin's name, and her husband.
yeah.
What an amazing experience. And if you think
That's a
about
long
it,
time.
Switzerland only have 8 to 10 million people, and they have like over 243 banks. To give you a perspective on that, Mexico has over 100 million citizens and only 48 banks. Huge difference right there.
Yes. Yes.
So it
Wow.
goes by, again, to economic opportunity that you can get with the banking system. That this is, again, just my humble opinion, but some of the stuff that you have to take a look in, and what is so important sometimes to have those type of like good relationships.
Yeah, definitely. So you've seen, I imagine, lots of business plans. What
Yes.
would you tell someone who isn't sure they're ready to present their plan to someone? What are some key points to consider to make sure we have on our plan?
um Projections, a good value proposition, and you really get to know the problem that you're trying to solve.
Mm,
But most important, go ahead and present it, because you
mm,
never gonna have it perfect, never. And I can speak on that note, because I recently went through a pitch in front of investors, and they literally the guy literally ripped up on my pitch. It's like, well, you got this wrong, you got this right. And I'm always studying my market. I just didn't put it in the right way for them to understand the problem that I was trying to solve. But just do it. Go ahead and do it, because that person that you are presenting to might get the time to say, this is where you need feedback, and you can go back and fix it. It's not the end of the world. So if you have it, go ahead and do it, and present it to somebody. Make sure that hopefully that person takes the time to say, this is what I didn't like. This is what I believe that you need to fix. And you go ahead, you can go back now with good feedback and make those arrangements. And probably, hopefully, you can go back to the person or go find another investor. But you come back as stronger.
That's right. We come back stronger. Thank you so much for your time so far this morning. Quick wrap up to the show would be, what does having an un billón mindset mean to you?
Wow, that is a great question right there. What 1 billion un billón mindset? I feel like it's to have the commitment to get started and the consistency to finish whatever you're doing. And that's it. I'm not a guy with a lot of words, but
I love it.
It will be those two: the commitment to get started, whatever you do, and the consistency to finish or get to whatever point, whatever goals you have to finish that project.
So there you go, guys. Have the commitment to get that started and the consistency to keep it going and see your plan come to fruition. So thank you so much, Yosmel. I will put his info in the description of the show. And as I always, share with a friend, like, subscribe, follow, and we'll see you on the next one. Un billón.
Thank you so much, un billón. Dale.
Mi padre vino de mojado en 75, 3 intentos no fue suficiente, fueron a los 20, si se puede, recuérdalo.